Okay, I'm starting over. New recording. Keyla Kirton, KeylaKirtonConsulting.com. Leadership Mondays, Leadership Live Mondays, and I'm here with Mr. Azad Mukesh, who's live from India. Azad, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I am better than what I deserve. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity to come over and talk to you. And I'm really very sorry for the technology stuff that really did not work well. So I believe Romans 8:28, God's timing, and I
Yes.
think this is the best timing for us.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I want you to just start telling us about who you are and how you and I met. Do you remember that LinkedIn request that I sent you? And tell me what your thoughts were and just share a little bit about how we were able to connect.
Well, it was, I would say, divine appointment.
Yes.
Then I received a text from you, and then I was wondering, who is she and why she's sending me a message? What's going on? Um, Maybe it was something, maybe a spam stuff.
Right,
But
right.
then when you mentioned about my comment into this particular website,
Yes.
I was really thrilled that somebody is there. There's one person in the world, in America, who is pursuing what I said. So I was really glad to see that somebody is holding me accountable for what
Yes.
have I done,
Yeah.
and also showing interest that perhaps if I was not able to pursue that passion, what was the reason? And then maybe there is some sort of encouragement and accountability or support. So
Yes.
that's what I was thinking, and I was really very excited. So that's the reason I said that this was God's divine appointment. So thank you
Yes.
so much, Gil, for reaching out. And
Yes.
then we exchanged, few messages,
Yes.
and we connected on WhatsApp. And uh, I told you something about a fantastic opportunity that God was bringing to us
Yes.
about launching this world's first mobile app for guiding untouchables or Dalit students in their careers.
Yes.
So, and then we were talking about another opportunities called youth ashram, kind of a youth camp for the untouchables. And then you connected me with Oslin,
Yes.
maybe, like potential collaboration. We created a
Yeah.
little group. So I could see that I was able to resonate with you because I feel that I am born connector.
Yes.
And as I've told you earlier, that I love connecting people, even to the point of getting 14 people married. And
Hey.
that was just, I mean, that was just a ministry. There is no money out there, but it gives me a deep level of joy when I connect people.
Yeah.
So I feel that. So when I met you, another connector, it was really deeper
Yeah.
level connection.
It is. It's amazing. And, I think that leads us right into just your story and your business and how you transition from corporate, from working for a really large tech company, telecom company, to what you do now. So you want to share that story about how did you
Sure.
apply what you were doing? Tell us the company and what you did and how you made that decision to transfer to coaching and consulting.
Sure. Oh, that's fantastic question. Thank you.
Yeah.
So after my God allowed me to study in country's top engineering school and business school. I did my engineering into electronics and communication, and then my MBA into international business.
Mhm.
And I was placed in Vodafone. So I was um, leading enterprise business, and then enterprise business is like the top business where we deal with large clients.
Yeah.
But then I was doing some research on M-Pesa, that Vodafone had launched M-Pesa business in Kenya, which
Mhm.
has transformed people's life. It was a product for the bottom of the pyramid sort of people.
Yeah.
And I thought that the same thing could be brought into India.
That's right.
Um, so I did a research, and I did nobody allowed, gave me that opportunity, but I created an opportunity for myself by the grace of God and my bosses gave me um, their permission, their blessings. I I just can't thank enough for Ajay Jain, who was there, and Jakpal Saini. So these couple of people had allowed me to pursue that research project. I used all my business research method that I learned in my MBA and created
That's right.
a wonderful project which was highly appreciated. Vodafone UK, the headquarters, global headquarters, and Vodafone Tanzania and Vodafone Fiji.
Mhm.
And then I just want to share my passion. I was in the top business, which is enterprise business, but I was thinking that I really want to make the world of difference into the lives of poor. So that could have been done through M-Pesa. So I was behind M-Pesa and I wanted to get into M-Pesa. So to cut the whole story short, I was rejected because what has happened when I was appreciated and a letter came from Vodafone UK to Vodafone India headquarters in Mumbai that this is a passionate guy, take him.
Mhm. Mhm.
But some of the leaders, they thought that I am trying to bring in the pressure from
That's right.
global headquarters,
That's
but
right.
that wasn't the case.
You're from
So they
corporate.
understood.
He's gonna come and see what we're doing and make sure and report back. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. So anyway, so all of these confusion, they people did not take me for 3 years. I was failed 27 times in interviews.
Oh wow.
I was in enterprise business and I wanted to move in M-Pesa business. Technically speaking, or worldly speaking, nobody, this is a blunder. Nobody wanna do that.
Right.
But that was my passion and I went into it. And then I finally 28th time,
Yeah.
I got selected. I
Oh,
mean, 27 times I was rejected in 3 years. I applied 27 times. I was very persistent, and but finally 28th time I was selected, and I was sent to Vodafone Himachal and Vodafone Punjab, which is like the most beautiful area of India, kind of Switzerland,
oh wow.
Himachal Pradesh. Yeah, it's hilly area. So anyway, I launched that business in whole of the Himachal and Punjab,
Mhm.
and I realized that somehow we are not leading this business as it was led in Kenya.
Mhm.
Kenya's 40% of part of M-Pesa has become 40% part of the GDP, but in India we were trying to run it as a business rather than a CSR product.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I was really disgruntled. I was far away from my family because we live in New Delhi, the capital of India. But for M-Pesa, I traveled, that far, and I was there for a year. And then I realized now this is a turning moment that I would like to share.
Like your click
Uh,
moment.
yeah, the click moment.
Moment.
I started feeling that because there were about 50 folks reporting into me. I
Mhm.
was business development and sales, and I've got 4 cars, chauffeur-driven cars given
Mhm.
by the company.
Sure.
Nice place and lot of glory.
Yeah.
So I started thinking, would all this glory of my corporate world, will it be thrown into the dustbin of corporate history, or I should involve my life in something meaningful,
That's right.
something which could make eternal difference,
That's
and
right.
what could be more fulfilling than completing the task of Lord's Great Commission?
That's
You know
right.
that.
That's right. That's
So then I was thinking, I don't want to do it. God is creative and He has created us to be creative.
right. Mhm.
So, what is a creative way that I can do Great Commission?
That's right.
So, I started thinking, oh, in India, one of the biggest problem is we have no idea about who we really, really are.
Mhm.
What are our gifts, what are talents, our passion, core motivation, deep desires, influencing styles, and all that stuff. We have no idea. And that's the reason we are, sorry, majority of us are becoming engineer, doctor, architect, lawyers, but we are not really created to be an engineer or a doctor, stuff like that.
Good. That's
So
good.
there's a huge mismatch happening,
That's
you
right.
know.
Mhm.
So, and India is a shame culture, as you know.
Mhm.
So, if parents, son, and daughter is an engineer or a doctor or an architect or a lawyer, they will have high name in the society.
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
So they, I would rather say, I'm sorry to be outrageously blunt, but these youth are murdered at the age of 18 when they get into university like engineering,
Yeah.
but they will be buried or cremated when they are 60 or 70-year old or 80-year old.
Wow, that's deep.
So they are,
That's
yes,
deep.
that's very deep.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and many of them, the other day, one of the largest automobile company, I was meeting
Hmm.
the director of training,
Yeah.
and he told me that there are men and women at the age of 22, 23, under 25. They are having hypertension, high
Mm.
blood pressure,
Yep.
and diabetes at
Yeah.
this such a young age. India is
Yes.
not a country where people get high BP and high diabetes
Right.
before 60
Yeah.
generally, but these days it's coming up. But I was really shocked to see why it is happening. So I realized because they are doing something what they can do, but they were not really born to do that.
That's
So they
right.
are running on battery.
That's right.
So
That's right.
what's the fun of running on battery? So and then I took up this um, mission that God gave me. This dream or mission is to help people understand
Mhm.
or help people discover and achieve what on earth they were put for.
Yeah.
Because if we just help people to discover who they really, really are, of course, this is a big thing.
Mhm.
If I'm able to help somebody in India to discover who he or she really is, of course, she will be much ahead than 99% of the people of 1.3 billion people.
That's right.
But that's not close the whole loop. So discovering is one part, and phase two should be helping this person achieve that.
That's right.
So, and that was the work of the early church. They really helped people discover who they really were and provided opportunities for the mission and send them,
That's
you
right.
know. And that was, I'm sorry. um, um, I think today's church also has lost that vision.
Yes.
There are a lot of programs going on, but there is no focus on uh, people's understanding their design, and this has been a huge problem. A lot of marriages I see is
Yes.
failing, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
because husband has no idea about who he is really.
Right.
That's the reason he could not understand his wife,
That's right.
and vice versa.
And also the roles are very important, right? The role,
Yes, the
right?
role.
Because
Yes,
the husband understands who he is and his strengths and his role, then he can appreciate who she is and her strengths, right? And
that's where you go.
yeah,
Yes, absolutely. You just spoke my heart,
yeah,
Keyla. Thank you so much.
you're yeah, yeah.
So,
And that I love marriage, and my husband and I do marriage coaching as well. So we are certified through Marriage Dynamics. It's a great
oh, really?
program, and we've led some groups in our churches, and it's transformative. So I'm with you on that.
Wow,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
wow, wow. I love that. So, and another problem, people, I had been seeing people are running after things which do not matters really.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and again, the origin is from there. They have no idea about who am I. That's the reason they did not understand what
Mm-hmm.
do I really need, really, really need. What do I really, really want?
Yeah.
So I started, working on this program, helping people discover and achieve what on earth they were put for. And then that brought me a lot of blessings and a lot of peace. And I felt that now I'm not running on battery, though I was making 200,000 at Vodafone. I was a lot of glory. I had a lot of stuff.
Of
And
course.
now, if I consider financially, I'm nowhere, but I'm
Yeah,
absolutely alive.
that's right.
You know,
That's right. That's right. You're rich in a different way.
yeah, I'm rich in a different way. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. I'll just like to take some water.
Absolutely. Take a break and help yourself. But yeah, that's important. And I think, when I thought about our conversation and what we could bring to the folks here in
Yeah, yeah,
America,
yeah.
who are a lot of the people that you saw that you interacted are people who are leaders right now. They have a nonprofit, or they're thinking about it. They're professionals and they're thinking about what is it that they're really passionate about. And like you, I want to encourage people to discover their strengths, and that's why I encourage that test, the Strengths Finders test, to help them sort of pinpoint what they're really good at, what their passion is, and then go out there and do it. So tell me about how you've gone out there and you've done it. So you left this big job, you were making 200,000 K a year, and even in our terms here, that's a lot of money. That's a decent salary. A very comfortable life, and you left that to pursue this initiative to help the underserved. So tell me about what you do now. Tell me about the specifics of of Lead Well and the companies that you're leading now.
Sure. So I told about this particular idea that I've got that with some of my mentors and elders,
Yes.
that God has placed this on my heart, that I've been thinking about all this glory of my corporate world will be thrown into the dustbin of corporate history, or I should involve my life in something meaningful.
Yes.
And I really want to do great commission in very creative and innovative ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this is a problem. So I really want to take up these trainings. So I was introduced to a couple of training programs. One was by Coach Mission International, CMI.
Mm-hmm.
Is a mission, a fantastic coaching company, ministry actually. And number two was SEMA International. They are world leader into that core motivation.
Yes.
So, and then third one was at Harvard. So I sent an email. I've never raised any funding, and I was very shy, but I sent few emails to my friends and elders and mentors, and I was fully covered.
Wow. Awesome.
But sorry. Before that, I would like to mention something which I missed. I'm really sorry. So while I was still thinking in Vodafone about these things, that time I got a call from a magazine company that is serving one of the very strong magazine for untouchables, the Dalits of India.
Okay.
And there was an onslaught onto this magazine because they had published something which was putting an kind of an onslaught to Hinduism theology.
Okay.
So the onslaught came from the top leaders, and they were attacked, and the company employees were put into jail, and they were not allowed to publish, and all that stuff was happening. So I got a call from the founders, and they knew me because they were Christians. Mm-hmm. And we have met in one of the leadership conference where I was invited to share my testimony, as well as the welcome note. So I met them several years ago, but we were in touch. So they gave me a call and they said that they are dying. Can I help them? So I was in Vodafone, and I was thinking that would all this glory of my corporate work, will it be thrown into the dustbin of corporate history? And then, but they did not have the money to pay me. Mm-hmm. So I took 40% salary, So I took up a challenge, and I said, okay, I'm coming to help. And I made a commitment for a year, and that was like 60% salary cut I took, and I joined this company. Because by that time I had realized what is my need. Actually, my need was just 40% of what I was making. So I was able to take the decision. So again, this idea is coming when you know who you really are, you also understand what do you need.
That's right.
So I took this 60% salary cut and joined this company, Media House. and was working. At that time, I was introduced to these folks. I met a lot of politicians
Mm-hmm.
from the because of affirmative action. People have gotten into jobs in politics and also bureaucracy.
Sure.
But the issue is these people, though they are politicians, though they are in bureaucracy or in other leadership profile, but they are so powerless that they cannot, think on their own.
Right.
And I understood their plights. Some of like people in the south, they are having. They, it is said to be like they have African background,
Right.
but then people in the north, then in the east and the west, so untouchables are everywhere, these Dalits.
Mm-hmm.
So I understood their plights that they have been raped, cut into pieces,
Oh,
murdered,
wow.
you know, they were not allowed to take healthy food. They
Mm-hmm.
were not allowed to, read and study.
Oh, wow.
They were made, their women were made. I mean, it was mandatory for Dalit women in the South India that they were not allowed to wear blouse or anything. They were open.
Mm-mm.
It was the mandatory for them. And then they were also asked to carry one vessel. It was tied in their neck so that if they spit somewhere, they will spit not on the ground. If they spit on the ground, it will be polluted. It will become unauspicious. They have to spit in this hanging
Oh, wow.
vessel. At the same time, on their vest, there was a broom tied up, which is so this man is or woman is going, and the broom is tied up, which is following this guy. And the idea was this man, this Dalit untouchable man, he is polluting the ground, and this broom is cleansing it away.
Oh, wow.
When a
And this is
Dalit man marries,
today. This isn't today in India now. This is going on.
oh yes, in some interior villages.
Okay.
And when an untouchable man marries, so in the name of purifying his wife,
Okay.
so there's a community, which does all this manipulation.
Okay.
And what they do, because they are the one who conduct the marriages, like they are the priest.
Wow.
So they take this wife who is just married today
Sure.
and have sex with her and enjoy her for a week in the name of purifying her. So
Wow.
she will be returned back to her husband. This is such a shame.
Right. Right.
And if this untouchable man, by mistake, if he hears some Hinduism sacred mantras, which is playing somewhere in the temple, by mistake, not uh, intentionally, even by mistake.
Sure.
So what will be done? They would put um, a glass will be boiled and turned into mercury, and they will be put into his ears.
Oh my gosh.
And if he has spoken some Hindu mantra, his tongue will be cut.
Wow. So
So
they're not welcome to be to the Hindu religion. They're not welcomed, and the Hindu people are not trying to win them. They don't want them.
yeah, so Hinduism is divided between four categories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number one is Brahmin, the top caste,
Mm-hmm.
the priest. Number two is the merchant, which is the Banyas.
Mm-hmm.
Number three is Kshatriyas, the warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And number fourth is Shudras, the servants. And these are the four categories that India is divided into, but
Mm-hmm.
untouchables are not part of this system at all. They are fifth.
Oh wow.
So even just and another thing, there is a tradition in the name of religion. They have started several tradition. One of the tradition is their daughters will be taken at very young age, like 7 or 8, and she will be put into temple as a temple prostitute,
Wow.
where the priest will enjoy her and his friends and his relatives throughout her life.
Wow.
And they have put so much fear onto their mind. Even till today it is happening. It is happening for 5,000 years. Till
Wow.
today it is happening.
So
So
tell me what you're doing to change that. What are some of the initiatives that you've done to shift that and change that narrative?
sure. So I also would like to share just one more thought. So
Mm-hmm.
there were hundreds and thousands of different atrocities. They are also made naked parade. Like recently, just a couple of months ago, one family where husband and wife, more than 50-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
and then their their mom, which is like 70, and children and sisters, all sort of people, they entered into a temple,
Mm-hmm.
and the punishment, because they were also not allowed to enter into temple. So
Mm-hmm.
the punishment that they received is they were made naked and were made parade in the streets in the whole village.
Oh wow.
So, and now the important fact is I would like to focus here. So some of those untouchables people, they become Christians. Now what has happened? They are segregated even there.
Mm-hmm.
So in
Yeah.
many churches, which is a mainstream churches, they have a separate cemetery for untouchable Christian. For
Oh
Dalit
wow.
Christians, they
Wow.
are made sit on the ground while other people are sitting on the chairs, on the tables.
Wow.
There is a separate line, separate sitting plan for these untouchables. You know,
Wow.
so what has happened? These people, who is this priestly community who has been manipulating this for 5,000 years, they also turned and become Christians, and they
Mhm.
brought the same sort of caste
Oppression.
system, this
Yes.
curse,
In the
into
church.
Christianity also.
Yep. Wow. Wow.
So my work with them is um, I, when I, through this magazine, I learned all of these things, and my heart was really crying. And I was thinking somebody has to stand in the breach, you
Mm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So I took up a challenge, or I felt strongly that God is calling me to do something in this area. So I went and talked with few leaders, and first of all I resigned from this job because I did not have enough time to do something specific for them.
Yeah.
So my passion became to help these people. Firstly, the household of God, which is these Dalit Christians, these untouchable Christians, and then taking on the larger community, which is not yet Christian, but
That's
they are
right.
called so-called Hindus. They
That's
are not actually Hindus. They were never been Hindus, but they have been manipulated and are told that you are Hindus, but they are not.
right. Wow.
So um, I have been doing leadership along with the leadership development training programs.
Mm-hmm.
God has brought wonderful opportunity for us, that I got grace. I was given a contract by CBCI. CBCI is a Catholic Bishop Conference of India.
Mm-hmm.
It is country's apex body for Catholics. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
but I've got a lot of connections in the Catholic denomination through these people. So
Sure.
they have brought in, 27 national leaders from across the country, and they gave us 9 days of doing the leadership development training programs,
Oh
where
wow.
we did this strength finders. We helped them understand the design.
Good.
Okay, so we did. It was a full pack program, full day program.
Beautiful.
9 days. It was big program. So we
Beautiful.
did that. and then God brought another, several more opportunities to deal with the leaders. So what I do these trainings, especially with these people. So I've got some friends. One of them is John Koch from Switzerland, and then there are other people, Anita Ruston from South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
Ian Ruston, and some other folks from America, because I am a connector and I love doing things collaboratively.
Yes, yes.
So we have been doing this, and I am personal coach to these some bureaucrats, and you understand bureaucrats, those who are in the
Yes,
foreign services, civil services,
that's right.
and some politicians
Mm-hmm.
coming from this untouchable background. Plus, there is a specific thing that I love doing. So there is an orphanage that I'm part of. This is run by Catholics,
Mm-hmm.
and there are 262 children
Mm-hmm.
from the age 3 to 25 or
Mm-hmm.
30, and I deal with teenagers and above. So these are children of sex workers, they're children
Right.
of HIV/AIDS patients and the leprosy patients, and some have no idea about who their father or mother was. They
Right.
were just thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
So these people are serving and loving them. So I was introduced to this, and I started serving them.
Good.
And what I do is I do this discover your design thing with them, and I do coaching and counseling and mentoring with them. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness, there are so many and also, as I've told you, helping people discover and achieve what on earth you put for. So um, I I don't care about people's passion, whatever they are. Like this girl, she told me that one of the orphanage girl from this orphanage, she told me that she wants to be the policymaker at the UN.
Mm.
And I introduced, I had developed some friendship with um, a lady who is a daughter of the global CEO of SoftBank,
Oh, wow.
and they have scholarships, a special scholarship
Mm-hmm.
for somebody like that.
Yeah.
So there was a condition that if she has got like 85% percentage of marks in her 12th grade,
Great. Yeah.
and wherever she wants to go, whether she wants to go and study in the Harvard or Oxford or Princeton, wherever, they don't care,
Wow.
they
Wherever
will
she gets
fully fund
accepted.
her.
Wow.
She
Wow.
will be fully funded, and she will get once in a year ticket back to home, and all her lodging and boarding, everything is fully funded.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
I gave her coaching and I trained her because the selection process was very tough.
Mm-hmm.
So she made it through.
Good. Good.
So,
One of your
and
success stories.
yeah, one of my success stories that was really great.
Yes.
Um, Her name is Hinga. Um, so now she has got into, she received acceptance from country's top school called St. Stephen's College.
Mm-hmm.
After that, she is planning to go to London School of Economics and Political Science,
Good.
you know, and
Mm.
then that's her plan. And then from there, she would like to go to Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University.
Yes. Oh,
So
good.
that's the career chart that I've devised for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so now let's see. Another late girl was, she she told me, sir, her father passed when he was 35,
Mm-hmm.
and she was a remarkable woodcraft artist. And when his funeral was going on, that time he was working on an art piece, and it
Mm-hmm.
was half finished, and then he died. And
Oh,
this half finished piece, it was kept on the almirah somewhere. But during that time, so many people were coming to their house, and somebody stole that away.
oh, wow.
And she has got desire to complete that task because the design was onto her mind.
That's right.
And then she want to be this woodcraft artist. And then I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is I don't know anybody in the woodcraft industry.
That's all right.
But God brought a man, one of the top artists from Damascus in
Wow.
Syria.
Interesting.
He was visiting Delhi, and it was divine appointment that I was able to see him. And then I told him about this little girl.
Yeah.
She is 14-year-old,
Yeah.
and I took him to this orphanage, and then he talked with her, and then he said that he is coming to teach her.
Awesome.
And really, so he decided to come for like 6 months, initially, and then it could go for 1 year. So I told him that I will provide him I'll take care of all his living expenses and the food, but I won't be able to pay his thing. But I also gave him another idea, that because he makes beautiful, beautiful stuff, wood stuff.
Yeah.
He is one of the top artists from Syria.
Yeah.
So I told him that you teach them, but at the same time you keep making your wood stuff, and I will market them in the elite class, so that he can make, because he has got a couple of daughters.
That's right.
He has to provide food on the table. If he is in India, so he has to send the money back to home.
Right. That's right.
So this is how we have devised strategy.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh my goodness. So one more story I would like to share, it was playtime going on. So this girl said she would like to talk to me. And I said, yeah, she was 15-year-old. She's 15-year-old. And I said, yeah. So we were talking, and then she talked about this boy. She says, sir, I love this boy, but he does not love me. He loves somebody else. Mm-hmm. But that woman is ditching him. She loves somebody else, but she's not telling him, and all that thing. So we would keep talking and all that for about an hour. And then afterwards she said, sir, I don't know why, but I want to share something very personal with you. I said, yeah, go ahead. Because they know that I don't talk about this to anywhere. I don't mention their names, and I keep their identity very safe and secret.
Of course.
So she said that, sir, I had only one brother who is now almost blind, and he might be 20-year-old right now, and he has never come to see me. But you know what? He thinks that I do not remember anything, but I remember it all. So I said, what was that? So she said that there's a place called Kolkata in India. It's like West India.
Yeah.
So there she was living with her mom and brother, and she says that we used to live naked. I said, what? Because her mother was a prostitute.
Wow.
And she told me, I had a sister who was 8 or 9-year-old. She was brutally raped, and because of that she died. And she remembered that she was lying down on the street. So she had got all that sort of pain into her mind. And but thanks be to God, somebody took her to this orphanage, and she is saved. And she does not know what happened to her mom and to her brother. So she told me finally that she wants to be a pilot. And then I had got a friend, in our church, who is flying the Indian politician, from one place to another place within the country. He is a commercial pilot.
Oh, wow.
So I took him to this orphanage. Like, again, you see connector.
Yes.
Because we connectors, we know a lot of people
That's right.
in different fields, and we love connecting. So I took him there and then shown him the picture and stuff. And then he talked with her, and she was very excited. She told me that now she has hope that she will be pilot one day.
Absolutely. Female pilot too. I love it.
Oh yeah.
I love it. That's good.
Yeah. There are so many testimony. Another guy, he told me he want to be Muhammad Ali from India, and he does not. He's nice, and he wants to have this boxing kit so that he can do the practice. And actually, I was saving money, because when you leave Vodafone and try to pursue your passion and calling, you don't make that much.
Of course.
I was trying to save money to buy my shoes for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, this guy, I don't want him to die. I mean, I don't want him to forget or die his passion of
That's
pursuing
right.
this. So it was hard for me. It was a very tough pill to swallow,
Of
but I
course.
swallowed it.
Of course.
And
Of
I
course. And you
got
helped him.
him this, and I got him this um, uh, uh, this boxing kit, and he on
Gloves?
Christmas Day
Yes.
he was so excited and happy.
Aw.
One more testimony. There are so many hundreds of testimony, but one more I
Yes.
want to share.
Yes.
So in Mumbai is like West India is the capital, financial capital of the country.
Yes. Yes.
Like Delhi is the actual capital of India.
Mm-hmm.
Mumbai is the financial capital.
Mm-hmm.
So there was orphan children summit was happening, national summit, and we planned to send our 15 children to this summit. And God gives me some crazy ideas. So I got another crazy idea. I said, why don't we give them, these our people, the first time in life flying experience? Why don't we send them by flight?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, brother.
They will not get this opportunity, but why can't we do it? But we don't have money.
That's
So
right.
what? Then I wrote letters to so many airline companies, okay, including one nationalized airline called Air India.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an appointment to see the chairman and managing director.
Oh, wow.
And I told him my passion
Mm-hmm.
of these people. I want to give them first time in life flying experience,
That's
because
right.
there's a orphan children conference happening in Mumbai.
That's
So
right.
he said he will work it out, but it is tough. So let me see. So after a week, the thing came out. He told me, sorry, he cannot do that. And I was really devastated. I
Yeah.
was thinking, what can be done? So I was praying, asking the Lord for strength
Yeah.
and wisdom. And then I remembered one of my friends. She works with Vistara.
Mm-hmm.
Vistara Airways.
No, I don't. What is Vistada?
Vistara Airways is a very famous airline.
Mm-hmm.
It is from Singapore.
Oh, okay.
So I told her to send me the number, not the email of global CEO.
Right. Oh my gosh.
He's he is Mr. Leslie Thang.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent him a letter, and I directly sent him a letter. So there was a couple of people, one Indian CEO and one global CEO. So I specifically told her not to give me Indian CEO, because I knew, because it he may not do it. He may not be
That's right.
passionate, but that guy may become passionate,
That's good. That's
because they
good.
are thinking from different perspectives. So I sent him a letter mentioning about all my passion about my ministry with these
That's
young
right.
folks, what I do. And he said, he sent me a response that all to and fro tickets are free. So
Wow. That is amazing.
actually, I had requested him to give me concessional ticket. I did not ask him the free tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that this is my passion and my dream, that these people should get,
Yeah.
first time in life experience. So would you mind giving me a concessional ticket? So he canceled concessional thing, but he gave me free tickets.
What's the difference? What's a concessional ticket?
So if a ticket is $100, concessional ticket might be for $50 or for 20 or for
Oh,
30.
so you were going to pay something, but he said, no, you don't have to pay anything.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
So he was outrageously generous, and he sent that money. Oh, not money. He just sent the instruction to his, Indian headquarters, and we
Awesome.
received the tickets. So these children got first time in life flying experience, and
Oh,
I was deeply touched.
how amazing.
So we got 17 tickets. 15 were the children,
Yes.
and 2 were wardens. So I did not go there, but I really enjoyed seeing them, travel by air.
That's right. And I think like tonight we were talking about reaching out and letting your curiosity and your faith sort of allow you to reach out and connect with people that maybe you would never be able to connect. And you're doing
Ye-
that. You're doing that.
Yes,
That's
yes.
exactly what
Yes.
I try to encourage. So I love that story. I love what you're doing. So tell me what's in the future for you. Where do we go from here? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Um, well, this is a great question. Next 5 year, I see myself as a married man.
Yay! If I can help in any way, I want to help.
Sure. And
I might know somebody. Okay.
sure. So, and maybe having a couple of kids of
Yes,
our own,
of course.
biological, and then we can adopt some.
Yes.
But my idea is like African diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were brought from West Africa in US and UK, and they have undergone a lot of, suffering,
Sure.
struggles. They
Absolutely.
have huge plight. Similarly, these untouchables has got that sort of plight, or maybe deeper.
Yes.
And because of biblical values in US and UK, you
Mm-hmm.
guys uh, have some sort of, I would say, equality. You are enjoying that and
Mm-hmm.
right sort of affirmative action. But in India, it is not, because there is no biblical value. It's a
Right.
manipulative system,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So I would want to see that what are those lessons that we can learn from African diaspora, from UK and US, their struggles, their plights, their issues, and
Yeah.
how they overcame,
Civil
how they
rights.
became
Yes.
unstoppable, how they rose,
Yes.
and
Yes.
learn, bringing in those lessons for Indian Dalits, untouchables.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do something in that area, and perhaps that might allow, if God willing, I would also like to do a PhD from,
Oh yeah.
Harvard University Department of African American Study, where I draw out the parallels between
Yeah.
these two people
Yeah.
and bring in some sort of synergies,
Yes.
connections, you
Yes.
know, and
That
if
sounds
God willing,
exciting. Yeah.
win some for the Lord during
Yes.
that process
Yes.
from
Hell
India,
yeah.
you know.
I love it. And I think you'll do it. And I love the context of a PhD study because that allows for it. That may allow and open the door for funding for you. That also will allow for you to document that in an academic journal and to legitimize, this effort to bring the lessons that we've learned from apartheid in South Africa, right?
Yes,
And the
yes,
lessons we've learned from the civil rights movement in America, the
yes,
lessons that we've learned for the diaspora in the UK and even in France and really Europe being a forerunner in equality for minorities. As you know, a lot of artists that were in America in the 50s and the 40s, Nat King Cole, Josephine Baker, went to Europe to seek
wow,
reprieve because they were not able to perform in the US. They didn't have equality. So they lived in Europe freely and happily. So I think there are a lot of lessons, like you said, historically that we can look at from Europe to then now the civil rights movement and even in the Caribbean, right? In the
yes,
Caribbean,
yes,
through the slave trade and all of the African
yes,
nations, African descent nations, Jamaica, Haiti,
yes,
we can look at some
yes,
of the things that went right and then some of the things that didn't work so well. Countries like Haiti that struggle with
mm,
a lot of issues and I think it's great. I love it. I love research. I love journals, and I love it when we can take a concept that comes out of passion and we can legitimize that with research. You can give it a voice, right? Because the people
yes,
reading these journals, maybe they don't think like us, right? They're not thinking
yes, yes,
about the diaspora. They're not thinking about equality. They're thinking about science. They're thinking about social justice. But we can say, hey, social justice is important and it's quantifiable. We can put
yes.
numbers to it. We can study it. We can replicate these ideas and we can test it in different contexts, different cultures, and analyze the results and make the world better. So I
Amen.
love it. I love
So
it. And
I,
I think that
And
PhD context is really gonna allow you to bring a voice and put a spotlight in a really legitimate way to some of the things
but
you're talking.
but Kila, I would say this is a goal because I want to see the things got turned upside down.
Yeah,
5,000 years of history, I want to change, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Which,
yeah.
so,
I'm
which is,
with
of
you.
course, a good size thing. And somebody, if you ask me, what will you fight for and what will you die for? Only one thing comes to my heart is social justice.
That's
I
right.
want to see these people
Hmm.
are have partnered with people like Afro Americans,
Right.
Afro UK people,
That's right.
and are doing something remarkable because they don't have
That's right.
any justice here. You know,
That's right.
they have been subjugated for thousands of years and will
That's right.
continue to do. The system is that it will continue to do so. So I'm praying for Dr. Henry Louis Gates. I think
Yeah,
he's heading.
I love
Yeah.
him.
So I'm
I do know him. I don't know him personally, but I watch his shows and I love him. Yes.
So I'm praying. I don't also know him personally, but I just heard about him. So I'm praying for him that God, open up some doors for me to tell him about this passion of mine that I want to do something under his leadership in
Yeah.
these areas,
Yeah.
research, my PhD, and
Yeah.
something like that. That is one. So this is about social justice, but at the same time, I would like to see these people are transformed by helping them discover who they really, really were and
Hmm.
achieve that purpose, whether they want to be a pilot, whether they want to be, you
Yeah.
know, a boxer, whether they want to be an engineer, whether they want to be anything in this world,
Hmm.
you know, they have got all the opportunities to showcase. Actually, you just few minutes back, you have said something that some people they move from those countries to other where they could perform because
Yes.
those circumstances were not allowing them to,
That's
truly
right. Yeah.
flourish or
Right.
act what they were really created to do. So
But
my
you
idea
have to
is
have the vision, right? They had the
yes,
vision. There was something that told them that there was a better place, that there was a better world, that there was acceptance someplace else, right?
yes.
Hmm.
So I want to see myself in next 5 year role. Oh, in next 5 year that I am. Oh, by the way, do you know Dr. Um, John Edmund Haggai? Haggai.
No.
He's from Haggai Institute. He is 95 or 98-year-old man,
Hmm.
and he has founded something called Haggai Institute in Hawaii. He's
Okay.
a leadership guy.
Yeah.
Okay, very well respected Christian. So
Yeah.
in last 5 years, he has sent me a couple of emails three times where
Hmm.
he said that you are the Barnabas of 21st century. So
Wow.
I love motivating. I love encouraging people. So in to answer back your question, 5 years, where do I see myself? I want to see myself to become the chief motivator
Hmm.
of helping these folks discover and also achieve what honor they were put for
Awesome.
and send them around the world, give them one opportunities after another, but with a view that at some point of time these people
Hmm.
experience the love of God and know him as a personal savior. Because
Wow.
I feel that this is what they must understand, that from where all of these gift, talents, passion, deep desires, motivations, and strength are coming. It's coming from the Lord.
That's
So
right.
they must find their identity in the Lord.
That's right.
So ultimate is that vision, but I want to take the route of social justice,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, using technology and innovation, um, help just to do that. Because um, as I've told you that in the summer, we have been asked by this large untouchable group to
Hmm.
do the youth camp
Yes.
or the Sunday camp, Sunday school sort of camp for the children and the teenagers and the adults, in different part of the country. So this is a fantastic opportunity because, as I've told you, they were um, when we launched this mobile app, they were about, it was Mumbai's the largest auditorium, about 7,000 people.
Yes.
But when we launched in Nagpur, which is another city, there was about 8 million people. All were coming from untouchable background. So untouchables are 24% of 1.3 billion people. So it's a huge number.
That's right. They're a quarter.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So did I answer your question?
You did. You definitely did. And you know what? I want to close with this because I think it's a great conversation. One, we have to create a way to continue this conversation. So, and we have to do it in a live context so that people can interact with you, they can ask questions, and they can benefit. You know, I believe in iron sharpens iron. You know, I believe that we need to be exposed. And I think a lot of us are not growing and are not expanding our faith or expanding our vision or our strategy because we're around the same people hearing the same thing. So I really, really love the intersection of ideas and culture and perspective. And I think, and this is really happening here. So I'm excited for that. And I'm so excited, and I will continue to pray for all the efforts that you're doing in India. Now, tell me, where are you located right now? What part of, are you in New Delhi still, or?
Yes. Yeah. We are in New Delhi. So we are in Delhi for last 200 years. We are really long time.
Yes. Awesome.
So as you were mentioning earlier, so you along with your whole family are most welcome. I would love to host you in India, in Delhi. And then maybe God willing, I'll take you around and show you some places based on your taste. And then your people can also, whoever is interested to come over to India, they are most welcome. So as I've told you, my interest is helping people discover their design.
Yes.
My interest is in technology, using technology to bless, love, and serve people.
Yes.
Innovation, entrepreneurship, and the top thing is social justice.
That's right.
I'll fight for it. I'll die for it.
That's right.
I've got so many interests and passions.
Not really so many. It's really one. It's really one. And I'll close with this. I know in the first century church, the way Christianity was spread was there was a plague that was going around that people were dying. And Christians were the ones who went and treated and worked with people and sacrificed their lives for just to be close to these people, to treat them. And that's how Christianity spread, because people in Greece and people in Syria and in all of these parts of the world saw that these people loved people they didn't know. And when their families abandoned them, these folks went in and they fed them and took care of them. Some of them got sick and died, and they sacrificed their lives to help others. So I think all of the visions that you say you have and all the passions, it's really one passion. It's really service. It's really service. Yes. And I think that's what we all have in common. I think that's what brings us together. And I know that in the end, even though it seems like we're going in a different direction, you know, you're working in India, I'm working here in the States, and we really are going in one direction. And I think we're becoming one. We're becoming one church, or we're becoming one team, or becoming one concept and one love, you know. And I think I really, really strongly believe in that. So while you're working in India, I'm working here, but we're really under one direction. And I am excited. I accept your offer. One day we will get together. We will be in India, or maybe you'll be here and you go to Harvard, and you can meet Aslan and meet everybody, and Sharice, that we get together with all the leaders that watch the broadcast on Leadership Live Monday. Thank you, Mr. Azad, for your time. Have an amazing rest of your day. I know it's 11 o'clock there in the morning. It's 11 p.m. here. So thank you so much, sir, for your time. We will continue to stay in touch, and join us again next Monday for Leadership Live.
Keyla, I just can't express in my words how much meeting you mean to me.
Oh.
Thank you so much for encouraging me and inspiring me, and thank you so much for touching our hearts. Absolutely. And I really love that. May God richly bless you. May He keep you. May make his face shine upon you. May he be gracious to you now and forever.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Same to you. Okay.
Thanks to
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.